ladies and gentlemen, there are, so many figures being thrown out by the PNP administration that it is confusing, because every time they come on, they give you a different figure as to what the hospital is costing, how much they are borrowing. And the people have every right to know exactly what the truth is. How much is the deal costing? The numbers are very confusing. And every time, as I said, they speak, the number change.
Robinson himself, who worked from its inception on this hospital deal, definitely knows exactly everything about.
Now, again, Honorable Boyce is making the assertion that Honorable Robinson indeed knows everything about this hospital, because he is the one constant factor that never changed. He was the advisor to Minister Karen Delancey, when she was Minister of Health. He retained that position as advisor to the Deputy Premier when he was given the portfolio for health. And he is still the special advisor and now project director for the hospital under the current minister, Dr. Lillian Boyce. But does he know everything? This agreement was signed on the 19th day. On the 19th day by the government. But on the 11th of January, this charge was signed on behalf of the government by TCI, by Canada Infrastructure TCI Limited. And on the 19th day, we find that the bank actually went and signed this document. First Caribbean Bank, their managers went and they signed on behalf of the bank. So, having already done this deal from last year, how is it, if somebody knows everything about what is going on, how is it he is going to ask Mr. Mark Young to tell him, I'll read, and this is Mr. Mark Young's second point. And this letter is addressed to Mr. Royal Robinson on the 28th day of February. And this deal was signed from last year. But it goes to show that there is still some information that the person who's supposed to know doesn't know. And Mr. Mark Young is saying, you have requested that we write to outline the rationale and reasons for the difference in the finance amount raised of approximately $123,620,000. Now, if you know everything, how come you don't know what the difference between the amount of the charge of $235 million and the amount of $123 million? What is that difference for? And that is a question that the general public wants to know. If the charge is for $235 million, but the amount that you have drawn down on is $123 million, then the difference of some $110 million or $111 million, people need to know exactly what this is for. We have never accused the ministers of stealing $110 or $111 million. We simply need to know, why is the provision being put in place for $111 million, and what is it going to be used for?
But what I wish to stress to the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands is that although approximately $110 million is provided for in this instrument, which the PDM showed at their press conference, it does not mean that any of it would be utilized, because it is more or less like an insurance policy.
Again, Honorable Parnell has already explained to you and shown you that even though the government initial authorized amount was 113 million, they have already relied on the provision under the agreement where they could go and get more money until this facility reaches $235 million. Because if it is authorized at $113 million, we find that as of the 28th day of February, the amount has already risen to $123 million. So we are looking at $10 million that they have already drawn down on. So the statement that Honorable Boyce is making, that they have this just in case and they are not going to use it or have not used it, is not true. Because that document clearly states that the authorized amount was 113, but you have the ability to draw down on it if you so desire. And as between the time this document was signed and the 28th day of February, they have already drawn down an additional $10 million under this provision.
You may be able to associate yourself with that.
And a second point you raised, that this provision is something like an insurance policy. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us have gone to the bank, taken our land papers, pledged that to the bank as security for a mortgage. And we know that that document we signed is a charged document. That is the bank security, that isn't the insurance policy. We're supposed to get an additional security insurance policy in the event something happened to us, that the bank would not have to sell the house in order to get repaid. So Dr. Bain is confused about this. The charge of $235 million has nothing to do with an insurance policy.
Gender property. Furthermore, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, AFCEO, in the UK and indeed the Governor's Office have been very much involved and informed of the progress of this project at every step of the way.
I would just like to make a comment on this. The Foreign and Commonwealth Office would be informed every step of the way because the Governor, as the President of the Cabinet, is under obligation to forward a copy of every decision taken in Cabinet to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. So the Foreign and Commonwealth Office would know exactly what the government is doing regarding how they are going to deal with providing the hospitals. But she never said that a Secretary of State, under the normal scheme of things, ever signed or authorized the Turks and Caicos Islands government borrowing $235 million.
And the government also has documented proof from Mr. Mark Young, and you have heard Honorable Robinson read the letter in its entirety.